Trish, I'm gonna sing this song while I lay down in this chair.
Okay.
This song is gonna mostly be about a baby bear.
Oh.
The bear ate honey, the bear ate bees, the bear ate a boy, and the bear ate a tree, and then he ate a car, and then he killed a man. He stabbed a baby, then he fucked a dad, and he's not afraid to fuck a man in the butt. Going to town and fuck shit up, yeah, he's a bear, and he's gonna grow up and be a motherfucking bear.
It's really crude. I don't think. I don't like that submission.
How was that? Was
It's
that
very crude.
What is that from?
That's
Was I
from
not on that?
Table Talk way back in the day.
It's an
It's
oldie,
really?
but a
Wow.
goodie.
Yeah, so it's
was
no, it's not
SourceFed
even
Nerd.
table
It
talk.
was SourceFed
It was
Nerd.
SourceFed Nerd, and it was like a movie review, maybe,
I forget. It
or
was,
a
Wow.
TV show review.
no, you got. Do you remember there was a SourceFed Nerd version of Table Talk for a while? It was a hangout and answer questions thing, or it was comment
comment
commentary.
commentary, yeah,
it was
yeah.
nerd comment
was
commentary.
nerd
You
commentary.
sat
Yeah,
in
you guys had
beanbag
beanbags. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, that feels like that memory was plucked from my brain, and it didn't want to come to the forefront.
You might have been on that one time.
I don't think I think I was maybe on it one time, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh
your
yeah,
guy.
I think you were on it one time.
Wow.
Man, we really tried to capture that commentary love, but we just couldn't fucking. We tried so fucking hard to recreate what made SourceFed so good for so long, kicking and screaming, and it just never fucking worked out because those motherfuckers didn't listen. Just kidding. I'm sorry.
Welcome. If you're a new listener, we come from a thing called SourceFed, and we now are part of a thing called Valleyfolk, and this is a podcast we do every week called the Valleycast, where we each bring a topic to the table. I'm Elliot Morgan, that's Joe Barrett, that's Steve Zaragoza. Normally we have Lee Newton, but we've had a long few weeks, and she's staying at home. Everyone is resting, half doing work. So we have a special guest, one of our good friends and friends of our from SourceFed, Sam Bashor.
Sam Bashor.
Thank you for having me.
Sam Bashor was just featured in the in the revered periodical, your hometown newspaper.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the Signal shout out.
oh, that's cool. man.
Wait. What happened?
It's real cool. It's really
a
great.
friend from high school hit me up on Facebook. Was like, oh, well, we want to just basically. He was like, oh, my friend knows SourceFed, and he's like, do you still do that? I was like, no. And he's like, well, we still want to talk about what you do. Can we talk? Can you come and do an interview? So we did an interview at a coffee shop in my hometown, and man, I'll just admit, a little stupid that I realized that she just recorded the entire conversation, like intros.
You didn't realize.
No, I didn't realize she was recording everything, so I didn't say anything stupid. But like all of my ums and and everything is in the article.
You weren't
man.
speaking in sound bites like you're supposed to in those like.
No, it's just that
It's not
they,
about the
they
nerd stuff for me. It's about the passion behind. Yeah.
I think what he's saying is they just transcribed literally everything that was said to print.
Normally they clean it up though.
Yeah,
they
they'll
cleaned up
take
enough of
ums
it.
out.
They promoted what I wanted to promote. Also, it was kind of cool because they put me on the front page, and I didn't know they were going to do that.
Sam,
That's
you've
cool,
been
yeah.
you've been part of some really big things. You're doing a big thing now, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I think you're all going to agree. I hope that you could get a 10 million hits on a video. You could get your projects shouted out in Variety or Deadline, some of those big Hollywood things.
The trades.
Nothing feels
The papes.
weirdly better than getting in your small hometown newspaper and like being.
I don't know. I feel like
People love it.
Never more naked. I feel like is when I feel my most
you don't like
vulnerable
it?
publicly. Like,
I
that's-
love it.
I feel like I'm hidden from my hometown to the point that every now and then I still get messages from people who are like, "Hey, I just stumbled across your text," and I'm like, "Oh wow, yeah, oh man, oh no, this is so weird for me." I'm going back to do a stand-up show in Tampa on May 22nd.
You're going to be in your
And
hometown
it's
newspaper.
A lot of my hometown, and there's somebody who is from my hometown newspaper who wants to talk
There
to
you
me.
go, and now you
so
got it.
I'm about to go through this, and I'm very excited. Oh no, maybe it's podcast. I don't know, but it's something like that.
It
and I'm
always
very-
feels real good, and it's happened a couple
I
times.
guess
for
it
me.
is a good feeling.
It's weird.
Just
It's good.
strange.
You
yeah.
grew up reading it, like for whatever reason in your subconscious.
ledger,
It
the
still
Lakeland
feels
ledger,
cool,
yeah.
right?
I actually, my brother found a time when I was in it before, when I was in 4th grade with my grandparents, who have both sadly passed. But it was just like when I brought home the newspaper to show my parents, he had that by accident when he was doing some cleaning. So it was just kind of a sweet moment where I now have both of those in
That's
my house.
cool. Yeah.
And if I ever do a scrapbook, I can put those together. And I 100% agree. It's super flattering. And I don't know, it's just it felt a little extra special.
It's like little childhood Sam getting a shout out from the people that you grew up around and revered. And I did a graduation speech at my high school once.
Really?
And I was nervous beyond all belief. But looking back on it, it's one of my favorite honors that I've ever had in my life.
Man, I'll
Yep.
never get to do that because
You
I
never
just
know.
left my school. I didn't graduate.
You never know.
I just like
They'll-
peaced
you
out.
get big enough, they'll claim you.
Yeah, but I honestly, if any school I've been to asks me because of some form of fame reason to come talk at the school, I swear to God I would go and just be like, you don't want to hear from me. I didn't graduate from this school. I didn't like this school.
At
Why
that
am
point,
I-
your brand is going to be so established that they're going to be like, we know.
Oh, right,
Like,
right.
that's why we want
Listen
it.
to that, Zaragoza. Shout out to Columbia Falls High School, by the way. Love it. Go Wildcats.
So Sam Bashor, what a treat to have you on the Valleycast.
Thanks for having me.
Is this your first time on?
This one, yeah.
It
yeah.
is,
Cool.
yeah. And I love you so much, Sam, and I miss you so much.
Miss you too.
And you know, it's I have nothing bad to say about you, Sam. You're a good boy, and I'm glad you're here. And I think we should do more stuff together.
I agree.
It's been too long, and you know, we're all busy with our shit. Which, by the way, you should talk about what the hell you're working on right now.
I kind of, you guys have been busy, and I've been doing a little thing over with my co-host DJ Woldridge, and we
Also formerly of SourceFed.
There
Yeah.
you go. And we just started teaming up with the people behind Life Noggin to make a channel called Might Be Awesome. And the idea is just kind of answering big nerdy questions using animation, because that's what Life Noggin does. That's their
Yeah,
bread and
yeah.
butter. And
Yeah.
then we'll dive into them and like find like weird avenues we can go down, and we get to work with awesome animators, and that's been really cool.
That's so rad.
Mm-hmm.
Animated YouTube stuff will always be cool.
It's also blowing up right now. Like, I just
Yeah.
Animation's
I met a
huge.
guy named, do you know who Alex Clark is?
I know that. Wait, does he do Odd Ones Out?
He's his own guy, I think, but he does animation. He's and he basically, he's been on YouTube for about the same amount of time that Joe has, and he's one of those old school people. But then he recently
40
blew
years.
up and has
Yep.
like about 45 years. Yeah, and he blew up to like, he's up to like 4 million subscribers right now. And it's all animation. He's doing like a live stand-up tour, and like out of nowhere he's just popping, because one of the reasons being that animation is like huge.
Yeah, they've been working hard forever, but they only do like one video a month now, and it gets like 9 million views.
Yeah.
And then they wait a month to work on whatever they want to do, and then put that out after. It's
Yeah.
super cool, and it's very challenging because we don't know what to tell the animators ever.
Yeah.
And you know what I like about it, and you can tell us kind of what your frequency is. You know, we're still kind of, we have that old school, again, SourceFed PTSD of like, we got to put stuff out all the time because that's how it feels. And then like, maybe you're not putting your best foot forward all of the time. One video whenever you want, you got to make it big. You put in the effort, you got to put in the work. You're double and triple checking. You're doing research, and then you're putting basically putting forth like a thesis paper. You know, your dissertation for that month. And I feel like that's a different type of creation that sometimes we don't get to focus on. And
Labor heavy.
yeah.
No, I 100% agree. But we are trying to do a mix of both, where it's like there's animation segments just to prove our point or to explain what we're talking about. So there's live action, there's assets, and then there's animation. But even then, it's like I feel like sometimes my brain's exploding. Also, it's really heavy research. It's real. Like we just did a video on what happened to Earth after Thanos snapped his fingers in Infinity War, and like what happens to planes, what happens to the infrastructure, what happens to your internal biome. Because they said like in the movie they said plants and animals died, and you're like, well, that doesn't make any.
No more tulips.
That didn't work. So
Shit.
like, what happens after that, and like what numbers you're looking at for like death count and stuff, and it's
Wow.
Like,
And
what if the
deaths
bees
as-
finally go, man? What if the bees are gone?
Well, and
Exactly.
for symbiotic relationships, if it's completely random, that means that like half of the microbes in your body also may die, and therefore, like what microbes you have that are like sustaining different
Yeah.
systems in you, a lot of people would just get sick,
Yeah.
without even dying.
Did you find that there were deaths as a result of the snap?
Oh yeah, no, like but,
human deaths?
like easy is what if a pilot like stopped,
midair,
just disappeared,
yeah.
or got distracted? There's 5,000 planes around above the United States at any point, and just thinking drivers.
2,500 are
or
down.
even like air traffic controllers.
Exactly, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
2,500
Wow.
are down, and how many of those crash onto or into other?
Yeah.
you
And what,
know,
like,
'cause
you
they'll
were
just
saying.
coast. They're gonna.
Yeah, and infrastructure, like he was saying, nuclear power plants, dams, like everything. Yep.
Shipping, like you, or like if
Big old tankers right into.
yeah, they would. There's no one piloting them anymore. There's a lot of unforeseen, like there's no balance to it. Also, when it comes to like endangered species versus like species we use for like food or whatnot,
Yeah.
like what's left after that. It's really interesting. We've been having a blast.
Yeah, what if that guy who stops all the earthquakes goes? Like,
Exactly.
what are we gonna do?
So what we're saying is that as a result of the snap, catastrophic events occurred that we were not privy to in the universe of the MCU. And so what we're talking about here is so much more death and destruction than we initially thought.
Yes.
I wonder why they didn't talk about that in the movie.
Because it was already 4 hours long.
I think it begs the question why Thanos would choose to do it in the first place. It would basically reveal that like the entire conceit of the first movie didn't make any logical sense, and the reason for him doing it was supposedly based in logic. And it's like, well, this is my way of balancing it. But if people were like Sam were to go to Thanos and be like, nah, then the reason for him doing it wouldn't be justified, and the plot wouldn't be able to be moved forward.
We're just talking Earth infrastructure.
What
about everywhere else?
I don't like thinking and knowing that our main villain in an epic finale of a movie series or something is truly just like a big idiot.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about it from Infinity War. What the fuck does every stone do?
Oh, it used
Is it
to
just nothing?
No, it was
Yeah.
comic book garbage. It was like we got to get
Okay.
this. If you need like you need all the Dragon Balls to make a wish or whatever.
Yeah.
And Dragon Ball whatever. That's the same.
It's like that kind of logic.
Yeah,
Because
but
once you have that
used-
reality one, you can do whatever the fuck
Exactly.
you want.
They were all
Yeah.
called one thing, like the reality one or whatever. Then
Reality,
like they call
soul,
it, and then they gave them different
Or spirit.
Yeah.
powers or
Yeah.
whatever.
The one
Time.
I'm most curious about is the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
What does it do?
It controls us ghosts.
It controls a ghost.
I
One
don't-
ghost.
No, because reality
Robert
feels
Downey Douglas.
Robert Downey, Michael
Ant-Man.
Douglas Jr. Sammy Davis, Robert Downey Jr.
Dougie Downey Fresh.
No, yeah, that sometimes it's just kind of convoluted once you throw that in there. But man, I know I wanted to come back for a second. This movie feels like the end of a generational like high point.
Yeah,
basically. 'Cause
yeah,
I don't know what's because Star Wars wasn't something that was in my childhood.
Yeah.
I watched it later, and it's still I can say that it's cool. But this is something that is unprecedented when it comes to cinema.
Dude, I was
Joe and
talking
I
to
were just talking about
I was
this,
talking to
yeah.
Steve about this. My daughter was born in 2007.
Whoa.
This is the only cinematic world she thinks exists.
Yeah,
This is
Iron
how
Man
she
came out when she
thinks-
was 1.
This is how she thinks movies
less.
have been made forever. This is Hollywood
Or more.
production to her, normalized. This isn't normal. This is so...
It's not normal. They're living in a world where, superhero movies are kind of just like commonplace, which kind of begs the question, does that mean that there will be kind of like the rebellious generation uprising that just because they're big budget, big studio movies, regardless of how good they are, they're going to rebel against it and be like, we fucking hate superhero movies? Is there like a
mean,
new generation coming?
I
you think?
don't think so. I mean, if they are, but the reason they work is because they're good. Like there's like they know how to cast them, they know how to get the directors and the creative team behind them, and they have a clear vision of what they want to do. The clear vision.
Marvel-
They didn't know
Marvel
what they were going to
did.
do.
Marvel
yeah, Marvel
definitely
did.
Well, but then you think about something like Star Wars, and it's like when Star Wars came out, there were certainly people that didn't like it, and then there were certainly people that loved it to the point where it became this massive fucking future success or whatever. But for a time, there were people who, like, when Return of the Jedi came out, were like, the Ewoks are dumb and I hate them and I hate everything about this movie. And this movie, Return of the Jedi, is just Muppets. And, like, I don't care about this movie. And then there was that, like, time, that giant gap where Star Wars just wasn't cool and there weren't any Star Wars movies. And if you liked Star Wars, it was kind of nerdy and not cool. And so, like, is there that kind of thing coming for superhero stuff?
You
think?
might get burnt out. Like, I mean, the DC stuff, everyone kind of is either checked out on or just they kind of like haphazardly like check in with it. Like they don't care.
Shazam was
Yeah.
refreshing.
It was, and
I still haven't
people
seen it.
people liked Aquaman. I did, and there's a.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either. I could see that they worked hard on the movie, so
Yeah.
I can't totally poo-poo it. But
Right.
I didn't care about it.
Yeah, I'll never watch it again.
No, it's good.
Ever.
Yeah. No, I don't want to.
Alana
don't-
liked it a lot because it's like sea creatures and the ocean and like that kind of thing.
Pitbull has
so
a
that,
song.
that might be the only reason why I ever watch it again.
Your Pitbull song? It's a
To
cover
the
of
Africa? Oh,
yeah,
God.
it's amazing. It's so good.
I still want to do that video where it's like scenes from Aquaman that just have like them like pooping like fish in the middle of it. Like you'll just see like Aquaman standing there and he's like, "We must save the people of Earth," and then you just hear like, bloop, bloop. And then while he's talking, you just see like a cloud of brown dust just kind of like float over him.
That's not a fart. That's poop.
It's poop. Yeah. Why aren't we seeing
That
them
poop.
poop? Why aren't we seeing them poop like fish?
I don't care about any of that stuff. Who gives a shit?
Hey everybody, it's your pal Steve Zaragoza here with a special ad read break. How's everybody doing? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Guys, let's talk a little bit about Stitch Fix. You guys heard of Stitch Fix? Let's describe your look in one word. Is it casual, sophisticated, playful? However you dress, Stitch Fix has the expert professional stylists that can help you look your best. Personal style is like a fingerprint. Everybody has their own. Whatever your style, the expert stylists at Stitch Fix are ready to help you express yourself. Not all clothes are fit for all men. With Stitch Fix, your personal stylist will send you clothing that makes you look your best. Less one size fits all and more like this fits your style. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that delivers your favorite clothing brands right to your door. To get started, you just go to stitchfix.com/Valley, I'm going to assume. Hey, Joe! The code is Valley on everything, right? It just says, right here, it says, show. Yeah. Yeah, it says, actually, it says Valley at the bottom there. Yeah. All right, I'm going to give you an edit point, Kait or Joe or whoever's editing this. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that delivers your favorite clothing brands right to your door. To get started, go to stitchfix.com/Valley. Answer some questions about your preferred style, and your personal shopper will ship you a box of clothes, shoes, and accessories. There's no commitment required, and you only pay for what you keep. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free. Plus, the $20 styling fee is automatically applied towards anything you keep from your box. You'll never have to think about looking good again with Stitch Fix. So, guys, get started today at stitchfix.com/Valley and get an extra 25% off when you keep everything in your box. That's stitchfix.com/Valley, stitchfix.com/Valley. Hey guys, losing hair sucks. And 2 out of 3 guys will experience hair loss by the time they're 35. Introducing Keeps. Keeps is just the easiest and most affordable way to keep your hair that you have. These FDA-approved products used to cost so much, but now thanks to Keeps, they're finally inexpensive and easy to get. For 5 minutes now and starting at just $10 per month, you'll never have to worry about hair loss again. Getting started with Keeps is so easy. You sign up, it just takes 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes even. Just answer a few questions and snap some of your photos of your hair, and then a licensed physician will review your information online and recommend the right treatment for you. And then, my friends, it's shipped right to your door every 3 months. Keeps offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there. Some of you have probably tried them before, but you've never gotten them for this price, that's for sure. Keeps is only $10 to $35 a month. Plus, now you can get your first month free. That's one hell of a deal for getting to keep your hair. So guys, receive your first month of treatment for free. Go to keeps.com/Valleycast. That's Keeps, KEEPS.com/Valleycast. And that's a free month of treatment at Keeps.com/Valleycast. Keeps. Hair today, hair tomorrow. So, since we have Sam on, I think it's fun to talk about some of the nerdier stuff or whatever, but we don't have to dig too deep. But my topic was going to be about how Quentin Tarantino released The Hateful Eight as a miniseries on Netflix. Did you guys hear about this?
Yeah, he added some extra footage, and it was long enough that it's like, screw it, let's bust it up into a miniseries of 4. So I'm guessing they're an hour each.
It's kind of an experiment, and I guess he had a lot of fun doing it. And so people were asking him, and this is something that the nerd world has kind of known about for a while, but nobody really talks about it because it's kind of like a fabled thing. But you guys have seen Kill Bill, the Kill Bill movies, right?
Yes, Steve.
There's a version of Kill Bill called The Whole Bloody Affair, and it only screened like maybe twice or something. And apparently some people have a copy of it, but it's not, I don't know.
It's like where the scenes aren't in black and white.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of different things like that. Yeah, the whole black and white
That's cool.
fight is in color in this version, and there's like a bunch of, it's just one giant cohesive movie.
Yeah.
And so they asked in an interview recently if he would put that on as like a series on Netflix, and he's like, no. And they're,
No, I actually like Kill Bill. So.
yeah. And but they did ask him about if he'd do that with any other show, and he was like, no, but I have like a version of Django Unchained that's like a director's cut, and he says it's like 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Long movies.
Which means how much did he fucking cut out?
Director's cuts are always just aggressively long.
But the thing is like
Mean.
I get the idea that like a long movie
That's
is
a
like
mean thing to
That's
do.
I totally get
A
that.
3 hour and 20 minute movie?
I get that. Like who wants to sit there for fucking 3.5 hours staring at a TV screen? But
will say-
but like Tarantino makes masterpieces, and it's like when a Tarantino movie ends, for me and for a lot of people, I think they don't want it to end because it's such a great.
Oh, I
fucking
love
movie.
Tarantino movies. Yeah.
So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but some movies are like, no, you didn't need to be that long.
Well, Avengers, I will say, did not feel like 3 hours.
It
to me.
felt
No,
like
it
3 hours
chugs.
to me.
It really doesn't waste any time.
Yeah, I really thought it moved well. I will say though, at the end, I didn't stay for after the credits or anything like that. I just got up, and especially after you kind of clarified.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I was like, I'd served.
I
my
don't
time.
need to sit through 20 minutes of credits for
Yeah.
that. I'll just
Yeah.
check it out online.
Exactly. I'll go to the end.
But not to spoil anything, but if you do sit through it, there is kind of a treat.
There's a thing.
Here's a treat. Really quick. Last year, 2 scientists proved that roller coasters are a fun and harmless way to pass kidney stones. And they used Big Thunder Mountain Railroad to prove it.
Yeah,
Wow,
I
so
heard about
barely a
that.
roller
There you go.
You could have done that, Steve.
You could have done it.
I just couldn't. There was just no way for me to make it to Disneyland.
Dude,
They had to
Yeah.
write it 60
Wheel you in.
times.
They also said
60 times.
60 times.
Just
You know what
like
else?
gravity's just whipping it. The centrifugal
Please,
force
no
is just
more!
whipping it right out of your penis.
And then when they were done on the 60th time, they were like, it was fun and harmless.
Yeah,
Dude,
fun and harmless.
Did you guys see that video that was
which
posted?
is the tagline for Thunder Mountain.
Did you see that video that was posted of the guy that dropped his phone on Big Thunder Mountain and then just jumped out to go get it?
I did not see that
Is
one.
it new?
I think so, yeah. Like he he dropped his phone, and then at the top of like one of the inclines in the middle of the ride, he jumped out and ran back down the incline to get his frickin' phone, and the whole ride stopped. All of the coasters on it. So how many were going at once? 3, 4. Everybody's just waiting, and then the guy that's filming the dude running to get his thing, he runs back up the incline to get back in his seat and just turns to the camera and goes, "Sorry, guys," and just jumps back in. Yeah. And I'm sure he's dead now.
You've seen
Disney
the-
probably killed him.
You've seen this video?
Yeah.
I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I
wanna
would
see
love to
this.
see.
This is real.
Big
This is
Thunder
Big
Mountain-
Thunder.
Yeah, I think it was Big Thunder.
Big Thunder
yeah, it was
Mountain
Big Thunder.
has one of those problems where just too many things have happened on it that are scary and not okay.
Like what?
Like someone died on Big Thunder Mountain.
Really?
Yeah.
The one here?
Yeah. And
Is there-
it was
what?
Yeah, it was like someone's birthday and they were on Big Thunder Mountain.
1 year ago, guy jumps out of ride for phone, and it's in the. I'm signed into Valleyfolk.
that would be it.
And
Maybe
I
it was a
can
year
tell
ago,
it's
so it's not
already been
super
watched
recent.
recently. Yeah,
But there
but
it
you
is.
watched it recently.
Steve, you keep talking.
Okay. Yeah. So there was a death on Big Thunder Mountain. It was like in 2003 or something.
What happened? What did he do?
It was
or
like
she.
it was a guy, and I think it was something happened where like the train ahead stopped, and there was some kind of emergency brake problem, and then the
Oh,
other train just
no.
smashed into it, and then just like it
No.
killed someone.
That's
yeah.
Jeez.
nightmare stuff. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I
This
love
is-
It
it.
happened at 11:28.
This is
I
where
love
the
it.
guy jumps out.
So Elliot's watching the video.
Okay, so it's slow motion.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's.
this
Really,
guy.
buddy?
He's out.
So he jumped out and he
Wait,
ran down, and
he-
now the thing is stopping. And they're like, "Why are we stopped on
Wait,
this incline?"
I didn't see him jump out.
I saw him stand.
You saw him
but
jump
that
out?
guy just
No.
jumped off the train and walked all the way down here.
What an asshole.
And now they're like, "Okay,
Fake
well,
snakes rattling.
see this guy's running back up the incline right now."
He's hoofing it.
This
Oh
is the
my
guy
God.
who jumped off the ride.
Dude, what a
Listen,
dream!
listen,
I've
listen,
always
listen,
wanted
listen.
to do that.
Sorry, y'all.
He's hoofing it like a guy not really running across the
He
street.
ain't got his phone because it was shot away.
Yeah, that guy was thrown the F out of Disney for sure.
Did he get back in?
Getting off the train, one at a time.
Oh no!
They didn't even get to finish the ride.
Everybody
that
had to
sucks.
get off the ride.
What a D.
The long walk down.
Can you send me that, Elliot?
Absolutely.
That's a
We'll-
good one.
We'll put it in the video version, which is available at youtube.com /SourceFed nerd.
Good plug.
Thank you.
Can I just say really quick, and while I do this, actually, hang on. The death that occurred on 2003 on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad was the 10th since the park opened in 1955.
Not on that ride specifically, but
no.
okay.
It was the first
10 deaths on Big Thunder Mountain.
It was the first fatality at the Anaheim theme park since 1998,
Holy crap.
when a cleat tore loose from the Columbia sailing ship and struck a visitor in the head.
Whoa.
Decapitating him is what I heard. Friday's incident is the
Wait,
second.
does it say decapitating him? That's what I heard.
No, I added that part.
That's the headline.
Friday's
It just
incident
ends, is what I heard.
Friday's incident is the second serious accident on Big Thunder Mountain since 1998, when a 5-year-old boy was badly hurt stepping off the ride.
Don't do that.
His foot was crushed against the curb when the train lurched forward.
I don't think we need to read this.
No.
I don't like stories about people getting hurt.
You hate to hear it, but it's real.
Yeah,
we live in a
you
world
don't
where
have to hear it,
it's
I will
things-
say
bad
that
things happen
on the
you know?
list of things that we as a society aren't looking at close enough. It's definitely fluke accidents that happen at theme parks.
Yeah, exactly.
10. So it said 10 deaths at Disney.
Yeah.
I know about the one on Sing America.
There
That
was
one's-
one. You mean
America Sings?
Carousel of Progress? America Sings.
That's
yeah.
The most
That's-
dangerous is
That's the scariest.
Hall of
grossest
Presidents.
thing.
Hall of Presidents.
I mean,
is-
it's just a scary place.
yeah.
Did you know the Hall of Presidents? All of those are just all of the people that died at Disney. They just reanimated.
They
their-
reanimated them, yeah. And
Oh,
made their
it's like
faces
a-
look like presidents.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's the
Did you
easy
know that
part.
there's a Trump animatronic in the Hall of Presidents?
I
It
did
has
know.
to be.
Yeah.
I remember when they unveiled that. It's a
Me
rough
too.
one.
It looks pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Makes me feel like they did it on purpose and made it look weird.
I bet they did the most subtle Uncanny Valley stuff on that, where they were like, we could make it look more real, but it's close enough.
All right. Well, yeah. Anybody have any other topics?
I was going to talk about the little bit of the Game of Thrones, but I guess it's kind of late right now because the new episode will already be out by the time this episode airs. So it's
Yeah.
not really
How do you feel so far? We can talk about
We
that.
can talk about
I
like
just
how big
found
it
out
was.
people
I think.
are complaining a little bit, and it's interesting to me that people are so critical of something so good. And
Same.
it's just, I don't get it.
In a story way, yeah.
I don't
for
know if
sure.
it's just like I'm not saying their opinions are invalid or even wrong. I just think that it's I personally don't have that pedigree in my brain of like I'm looking at things as though I need to
Right.
decide if I like it. And like I just felt like that episode was so fun. And
It was
and
a journey.
It was just like this is where we've come to as society in TV and entertainment, and I loved it very much.
I've
but
certainly never seen anything like it on TV.
Technically
that's for sure.
speaking, it's like
Yeah.
the biggest battle ever caught on camera
That's
for
so
TV
cool.
or film.
And I
So
read a
many
thing that's
good
it's the
moments.
lowest rated of the battle episodes of all of
Really?
the
Even
this
Battle
is
of the
the whole
Bastards?
series, way lower than Battle of the Bastards, and the most critically maligned, to the point that I was like, is this a joke headline? I
Interesting.
thought I was reading The Onion, but apparently it's only like 9.0 versus like anything else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Still
Versus
an
like
A.
9.2. Yeah, it's still a good.
If we're grading on a curve, it's an F, but it's still an A.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
it should have been bigger than the Battle of the Bastards or any other fight.
I would
really, or any
contend
other
like
battle.
a lot of people are pretty up in arms, rightfully or not rightfully so, about this season. So maybe the first two episodes
true.
didn't really get people.
Maybe people
loving
tuned
it.
out
Exactly
before it even happened. Wow, that's dumb.
I'm sure you'll probably like lean into
What a
the
mistake.
the technical problems that you had. But I, will
have a lot
say,
to say about it, but I don't want to waste any
we all,
time here.
we get, yeah. It's
I
like
It's
almost-
just so technical garbage.
I almost tweeted out that this thought that I had, which is like, congratulations to Game of Thrones for creating a series, the only series in history where people are disappointed if you don't kill your favorite characters. How insane is that?
Yeah.
People were mad that some of the biggest characters didn't die.
well, and it's also
That's
or get
insanity.
hurt, really.
Yeah.
well, at all. Even
Yeah.
the ones that
shit.
definitely should
You
have.
get to what, 2 to 3 more episodes with your favorite
Which,
characters?
in fairness, I will say I thought more people should have died, but I didn't want to see them die. So when they survived, I was like, great, I get to hang out with them longer. But I think what I liked about the episode as a whole, and sorry, this is spoilers, but come on, is it? I think a lot of the criticisms were like, that's it, it's over, and I'm like, I've wanted this plot line to be over for so long because I don't think it's as interesting as like
I
the
think you're in the
political,
minority there.
maybe, but I like the
You're more interested
interpersonal-
in with the Cersei.
I like
plotline.
the flawed characters and complex morality and like people one-upping each other in like a really cool kind of backstabbing way. I like the drama of the
No,
show.
I 100% agree with you. No,
Yeah,
100%.
and
there's no way they could have made this episode any better than what anyone expected. People built it up too much in their minds.
Right.
It's 8 years.
Yeah.
and
in
also,
making.
just from a storytelling perspective, the White Walkers, just this big, ominous, sort of basically faceless, backstory-less,
darkness.
dark entity is
Yeah.
like not that
Yeah.
interesting, and it required basically a Deus Ex Machina plot thing of like lighting the thing on, or the the blade or the whatever that just kills everybody and
Valerian
everything
steel
at the same
blade.
time, and it's just like it's one big moment that swoops in and well, actually that was more the fire than necessarily that end scene, which is so cool. But anyway, I like not having the only bad guys versus only good guys. I don't want to see everybody come together and be like, our differences are fine because there's a greater enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That can last for so long, but like, who's gonna? Let's get back to the.
And that's where we are for 3 more episodes.
And that's what I'm excited about. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I am pumped for more.
I
Do you
just,
see
I
the,
think that there's the people liked the stupid, zombie stuff, and they liked the scary.
I guess,
stuff,
but then
and-
they're the
yeah.
ones that are like complaining. It's like
I know.
I saw the stupid stuff and I like it. Like,
But
I like
also,
all the,
like the zombie stuff doesn't really. It's not you. Is what you pointed out is like the political drama, or like the like even when it comes to the economic drama that they have on the show, it is what pulls people in. The idea of the zombies is fun, but when he shows up, you're like, oh wait, he doesn't actually. I don't know what he wants besides. It's like light and dark.
and
where
it
it's like
served its
doesn't-
purpose. It did move the plot forward, and it
Yeah.
did make all that
Brought
stuff
everyone
kinda-
together.
And people
Yeah.
forget too that the series was built on what we're about to head into in the end of the series, which is just kind of that battle for the throne
Yep.
with those kingdoms
I
and
mean,
stuff.
Game of
A-
Thrones,
and the-
not Game of Zombies, everybody.
Yeah, and
Am I right?
the show gained popularity and captured our hearts and imaginations by being a show largely that wasn't as fantastical as it ended up being in these past couple of episodes.
Yeah, and there's something just to like bringing all the characters together in a way that they can form new alliances sets up really nicely. I think the opportunity for there to be more plot moving forward.
dude, we have
because
so
you
much.
have to have something like
I
that.
want-
Otherwise,
It's a
they'd
soap
always
opera.
be separated.
It's a soap opera with daggers moving
Yeah.
forward. It's going to be awesome.
I have a question to ask you guys. It's more of like a moral kind of interesting thought.
incest.
Question. But no, what do you
Incest.
think?
Let's talk about it.
Why do you think people are so obsessed with who's gonna die in something? Because Avengers had that whole, and again, without getting into spoilers, building up to Avengers Endgame, everyone's like, who's gonna die? Who's gonna die? And there's articles, who's gonna die? Is Captain America gonna die? Is Iron Man? Is the Hulk gonna die? And it's like, why do we care so much?
I mean, it's the ultimate intrigue, isn't it? It's like it's the thing that we're all afraid of. In the end, it's the end.
Yeah,
it's a bigger conversation about like us just being on this planet.
It's the full stop to most stories, and the story that way we view our own story. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't continue on with like you could say your legacy is what carries it on, but your story ends.
Man, maybe
So-
I can handle my death better if I see Iron Man die first.
you think that's what it is?
I can
truly?
grasp it
I think
better.
there's an inherent thing. There's nothing more intriguing as a human on this earth than the creation of life, having kids, sex involved with that, of course, and then dying. Like those are like the two universal things that we all do. We're created, we create, and then we go away. Like that's it.
And so, and what do you think about the anger associated with not certain characters not dying, being?
I
a
mean,
thing?
it's just you got kind of
Same
jerked
thing.
around a little bit. I mean, you thought something was going to happen, and it didn't.
So it's just people being upset that their ideas didn't happen, you think?
Yeah, I mean that's normal, but it's also normal nerd culture.
Yeah,
like
it
you
is.
guys, nerd culture makes stuff really not fun
Yeah,
fast
I
when they
know.
don't get what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of telling artists and creators how to be and what to do and how to fulfill their preferences is such an annoying part of this like wonderful time.
well,
And
it's
even more now than ever with fucking social media.
Yeah,
where
and-
you could talk to the director.
Yeah, well, we all have
Yeah.
a voice, and the way that art is created now, it's these long plays, right? So for Marvel, this is again like my daughter. It's been part of her life for 10 years. Game of Thrones the same, about 10 years, right? So these things have been with us forever, and all we've been doing in the back recesses of our minds is writing our own novels. So you're creating your own outcomes. You're creating your own premonitions that are in regards to the story, and then when they don't happen, you're either going to be floored or disappointed. And like you said, the problem is that now everybody has
You're
a
gonna be
freaking
floored
platform
aboard,
to
baby.
say it.
Floored aboard.
Like, oh, that didn't do the thing that I wanted it to do.
Yep.
When you need red wine at 4 p.m., sushi at 9 p.m., a breakfast burrito at 8 a.m., and ibuprofen at 10 a.m., Postmate it. Postmates is your personal food delivery, grocery delivery, whatever kind of delivery service all year round, guys. Anything you're craving, Postmates can deliver. They're the largest on-demand network in the U.S. and offer delivery from all the restaurants, grocery and convenience stores, and traditional retailers you could possibly want or need. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Postmates will bring you what you need within the hour. No more trips to the store, guys. You don't even have to know where the store is. Postmates will deliver anything to you. That's right, anything. Download the app for iOS or Android for free. Browse local restaurants and businesses and track your delivery in real time. And guys, for a limited time, Postmates is giving our listeners, that's right, you listening to this right now, $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days. That's right, guys, $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days. To start your free deliveries, download the app and use the code Valleycast. That's right. That code is Valleycast for $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days when you download the Postmates app. Anything you need, anytime you need it, Postmate it, download Postmates, and save with code Valleycast. Thanks a lot, guys, and thanks for the break. Thanks a lot, guys, and thanks for that ad break. And now it's back to the show. See you guys.
I wanted to talk real briefly about an isolation chamber that I did. I did do it.
What was your experience?
It was right before we were going into this thing that we've been doing for a little bit. And so it was right before a high pressure moment. And I went in and I had a great time. Have you ever done this before, an isolation
Is that
chamber?
the floating one?
Yeah.
Is that the
floating tank or whatever you want to call it?
Sensory deprivation.
Sensory
I've done it.
deprivation,
Yeah,
yes.
and I accidentally dropped salt water in my eye, and I had to get out of it really
I
fast.
got salt water in my eyes as well.
Yeah,
I had to stop, turn the light on, get water out of my eyes, go back
It
to
sounds
sleep.
like you
Did they
guys
give
did
you
the
the squirt
exact
bottle?
opposite of
Yes.
sensory
Yep.
deprivation.
They gave you a squirt bottle, and I just kept emptying it into my
Me too,
face,
yeah.
and it didn't do
the same thing. But I actually didn't I didn't turn the lights on, so I was in pitch black, just like oh, it burns.
It's so cool, though.
It's so cool. The sensory deprivation chamber is an experience where they remove the sensation of your senses as much as possible, so you get into a warm water that's the same temperature as your internal temperature. You take a shower beforehand. It's salt, so you float. You do not touch the ground. I wear a ring, like a head ring. Did you use that?
Mm-mm.
A little flotation
Not
to
me
keep your
either.
head fully, like, so, because they say you don't fully relax, and so allow me to fully relax. And you spend an hour in there, and it's interesting because it's you go to places. I saw some things.
You hallucinate?
I didn't hallucinate, but I
I-
definitely had some weird kind of things were happening. Things were firing in my brain that were not normal, and then it lasted. It felt like it lasted a lot less time than it actually was, and then the lights came up, and all for the rest of the evening, I was just spaced out. I was very just like looking off into the distance and very muted. And then I went and hung out with y'all and then kind of
I'm sorry.
guy was, and it's okay. It's okay. But then, the whole night I was just very just like, and I highly recommend him if anybody ever gets a chance.
Sam, what was your experience?
It was a wonderful experience. I saw colors, and they were coming in like waves. And they would kind of fold
I
in
saw
on
waves.
each other.
Yep,
Yeah.
I saw a thing that looked like it literally was like a color orb thing that was like floating around, and it like fell onto the bottom of my frame, and then like went off into the distance.
It's super cool. It was a wonderful experience, and I was able to. That was the first time I ever like meditated, so I understood what it made me understand what they're talking about. It's not turning your brain off. It's just like
The heartbeat.
It's focusing.
That's the creepiest.
Is this?
But
Did
you
put
can't
two
hear
things
your
together?
own heartbeat. Or you can't hear your own heartbeat.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Ugh.
It
Gosh, it's
because
like-
of the headphones, it feels like someone's like tummy is pressed against my ear.
tummy.
You saw things. I didn't see anything. Man, I've never seen anything. I want to see something someday.
It was cool.
I want to see a sleep paralysis demon.
I'm so scared of that.
I'm terrified
you
of
don't.
it, but I want to see it so I can face it and conquer it.
Nah.
Have you ever had it?
No,
You
but
sleep
I've
paralysis?
heard that you can conquer it.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Mine was just don't do that.
Looks like
I'll just take my headphones off, and
looks
I
like
don't want to have to not.
looks
hear.
like Noob Saibot from Mortal Kombat.
Everyone says they're terrifying.
It was the most terrifying
Like
experience.
anytime someone says they've seen a paralysis demon or entity, it's always terrifying.
I felt the majority of the stories, and my brother's experienced this, is like they're on your chest and you can feel a weight, but mine was a weight that was next to me, and like I felt it was the size of a human, and it was just indented in the
and
bed.
the thing is like there are scientific reasons for your body going into sort of like when your body goes into REM, it goes into the sleep state. They say that like it really does go into this kind of like lockdown mode where your body just
So you don't like roll off.
so you don't roll
cliffs.
off your bed
Yeah.
or off cliffs or whatever.
Cliffs.
You've never had it? You've never experienced?
I mean, one time I actually
I
fell
say it
asleep.
like you haven't experienced
I
a demon in the dead of night.
haven't?
I fell asleep kind of hugging myself, and then I somehow rolled face down, so both my arms fell asleep. And so when I woke up, I was like,
no.
I couldn't roll back.
Oh shit!
Dude, I've done it. I've fallen asleep in my arms to the point where I lost complete function of them in the morning. It's the scariest.
It's so
thing.
scary.
Oh,
You think
my
it's permanent? There's
my arm doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Yeah. This is the definition on Wikipedia of a shadow person. A shadow person, also known as a shadow figure, shadow being, or black mass, that's how mine was, just an all-black figure, is the perception of a patch of shadow as a living humanoid figure, particularly as interpreted by believers in the paranormal or I'll seriously...
I actually don't know. I actually don't know what you're talking
or
about.
supernatural as the presence of a spirit or other entity.
Nope.
And here comes the scientific explanation, so we can all sleep tonight.
Please, science, tell us.
It's several physiological and psychological. Now you hit the heartbeat. Several physiological and psychological conditions can account for reported experiences of shadowy shapes seeming alive. A sleep paralysis sufferer may perceive a shadowy or indistinct shape approaching them while they lay awake paralyzed and become increasingly alarmed. Neuroscientists Balan, Jalala, and V.S. Ramachandran have recently proposed neurological theories for why people hallucinate shadow figures during sleep paralysis. A person experiencing heightened emotion, such as while walking alone on a dark night, may incorrectly perceive a patch of shadow as an attacker.
That's the thing. Like it can be explained in scientific ways that your brain kind of just like creates this imagery or whatever. But it is interesting and fascinating that everyone kind of sees
The
something
same
similar.
thing.
And
Yeah.
the same experiences. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
it really
fascinating.
makes you. It's fascinating. That's all it is. I wanna read a book about it.
I know, me too.
That's-
It's right up my
Dude,
hobby alley.
of all the things like I want to experience that I haven't experienced, sleep paralysis, beings, ghosts, aliens, all that stuff. Sleep. I can't believe that's the one you want to see. That scares the freaking
I mean,
crap
I know.
out of me.
I'm
Go
also
for aliens before a shadow
Yeah.
person. Maybe
I'm
not.
also
I don't know.
terrified of it, but I know that, you know, even though there are these, let's say these entities are real. Let's say that there are shadow people that come in the middle of the night sometimes when, you know, they want to feed on your energy or whatever the fuck it
They're
is.
just doing their job.
You know,
Clocking in, clocking out.
so let's say they're
Another
real.
day, another dollar.
Whatever we are doing as individuals in this room is allowing us to live our lives to the point where we are currently living them without having been hurt by or affected by these beings. So if they are real, it means that there's also a way to keep them away from harming you. And if just seeing them is the worst that they can kind of do, then I'm kind of okay with it.
I know that in my experience, I felt at that time in my life, it was a very dark, bad time, and I myself wasn't in a good place. And so I think that also might hinder your chances of seeing one. I think
Yeah.
psychological stress and feeling under a lot of pressure can, I think, cause those things. And if you're doing okay
Yeah.
mental health-wise, I think you're less likely
That's what I'm
to-
saying. If you're so far so
Could
good,
be wrong.
I mean, and again, like the spiritual stuff, the new agey kind of like energy universe type stuff. If you're kind of not privy to it, if you feel like you haven't like experienced something like it, I feel like it just means that, you know, it's not time yet.
You're
maybe.
right. I'm perfect. That's right.
You're
That's why.
perfect.
There
Yeah,
you go.
thank
Oh,
you.
congratulations.
Joe,
Thank you, Sam.
congratulations. You're perfect.
I'm more.
Thank you.
I'm honestly more scared of when I was a kid. Sometimes you hear cabinets close in our house.
Yes.
I'm more scared about like that
Yes.
one, like you know, like the boyfriend that lives in the attic and comes down and steals the
Yeah,
person's
yeah,
food.
yeah.
I'm more scared of that.
Oh, the guy living in
Yeah,
there? Yes.
dude, more
yes.
like, personally.
The slow creaking of a door compared to the intentional slamming of a cabinet is
Yeah.
so much different. Like,
Dude.
it's so
We had
terrifying.
a-
Like, maybe somebody just be
Okay,
like,
go ahead.
We had I was up. All of us sleep upstairs in our apartment. We have an upstairs and a downstairs. And like last 2 weeks, like 2 weeks ago, we were all upstairs, and I hear a something like crash. Something fell off a wall or something downstairs, and I was like, I don't want to go down there. I love my family, but I am so scared
I
to go
know.
down there right now. I'm so nervous, and now I have to go down there. And I'm telling my wife, I don't want to go down there.
And even though
Yep.
it seems irrational,
yeah.
there's just something about it.
And I wasn't scared that it was a ghost or a sleep paralysis monster or an alien. I was like, there could be a human down there that wants to hurt me.
yep, that's
Okay,
the
so-
real life stuff. That's the scary stuff.
Yeah.
So really quick, let me tell you guys this story about this one night. So my friend Jeff and I, we were best friends when we were younger kids, and he would spend the night in my house. And my bedroom faced the street of our neighborhood. So like, you know, my bedroom was like right in the front of the house. So it was like the doorway. So if you're looking at my house straight on, it's the doorway, and then to the left there's a window, and that's my bedroom. So we'd be trying to go to sleep or joking around or whatever, and then all of a sudden we'd hear like this wheelchair zzz, like outside, and
What?
And we were like, we were kind of like, oh, what's that? And I look out the window, and it's this. So my neighbor's house was a halfway house, like my whole life, and it was like recovering alcoholics and like
Oh, boy.
people that were like being reinstated back into the world.
What
from
a
like
nightmare for your parents having kids next to that.
oh, it was bad. We had the cops come through our house one time to get into our backyard because there was
Wow.
like a guy that like hopped the fence. Anyway, yeah.
This
Anyway,
informed your sense of humor at all?
absolutely not. You slightly dark and on the edge of being too inappropriate? No, of course not. So anyway, so there was this guy, and he was in a wheelchair, and he might have been a vet, like a Vietnam veteran, because he had no legs, but he had his arms, and he had this electric wheelchair, and just like, midnight. And when you hear him pass the window, and then you'd hear his little gate open, and then he'd go, and then he'd go into that place. And so one night, it had happened. It just kept happening. All these weekends that he would spend the night or whatever. Here comes the guy in the wheelchair. And one night we were just like trying to spook each other out and scare each other, and we were like, how
no.
fucking. And then we started to make each other laugh because it's kind of funny, but we were like, what if one night we're laying here and you just hear the zzz, and it's like, oh, there's the guy in the wheelchair. And then all of a sudden you hear zzz, and it stops kind of like in front of the house we're at. And then you hear my like front gate being like messed with. And then it's like, what the fuck? And then you hear like, and then and you hear it like coming up to the doorway, and like we're like the wall is connected to the front of the living room of the house where you come in, and then I'm like, what the fuck? And we were just laughing about how funny that is, and then I was like, well, obviously he couldn't get in, and he's like, well, and then we were like, what if he got to the door, and then all of a sudden you hear like keys.
I was thinking if you heard the zzz and then it stopped, and you were with your friend and you were like, what? It stopped. And then you get up to get out the window, and it's just an empty wheelchair.
The wheelchair's empty!
In that moment, you hear your door open.
Oh, shit!
What if you would just start hearing thumps, either like
Oh my
hands,
God.
drag, like hand, drag.
Dude, what if it's like
Hand,
No, what if it's
hand.
like walking on the hands?
Oh, like at
Like-
the end
Yeah,
of Freaks?
like it's done it before.
Yeah, like real
my
fast.
Like it's skilled at it.
And then you hear it like on the ceiling.
That's the worst.
But I always just thought it was the
Yeah,
funniest.
you look down, you see an empty wheelchair, and then you just see in the window a hand just slam onto the sill. Fun.
Oh my god. Oh
But I always thought, but it always got really funny when you hear him pull out some keys. It's like, what the fuck? He has keys to my house, and then you just hear the door open.
Dude, we just came up with a lost story from Scary Stories. Remember those books?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, the movie's coming out.
It looks
Yeah.
so good too. It looks like they're being very, very faithful to
know,
the source
I know.
material. Ugh. Yeah.
Can we watch that trailer after this, and then we'll watch what was the other thing you wanted to see?
Don't know. I'm really
Game of
scared right
Thrones
now.
bar.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
was
Oh, the Game of
creepy
Thrones bar.
tale.
Yeah.
That's really I like that story.
The
Yeah.
one with the wheelchair.
film. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Let's
I
just
like
not
that.
being in the chair.
Just
Yeah.
Dude,
just something
not being in the chair, I have not seen that. That's really cool.
You could make it like a lights out short where it's
Yeah.
just simple, like something easy where it's like this is a normal thing that shouldn't be scary.
and you can hire people who are like quadriplegic, and they use them for like zombie movies and stuff, and they get them like to do stuff where that with it. Like we could probably cast a kind of interesting looking.
Or we
person.
could just break Sam's legs.
yeah. What am I doing with them? I'm bad at running.
Just
Sam, you
sitting
don't mind
here.
if we
break your legs.
break your legs?
Whew. I'm worked
All
up
right, let's
now.
get the hell out of here, guys.
Yeah.
So what an
Sorry,
episode.
Joe. I took two topics. I
No,
apologize.
that was
Okay,
great.
we all had.
I'll
fun.
make up for not having
This
one for
was
the
an
next 3
engaging
weeks.
conversation
Yeah.
about all things nerd culture, and we even got into Scary Stories next. Made me very happy. It's one of my favorite book series
Delved
ever.
into psychology and spirituality.
Yeah.
This has been a great episode of the Valleycast, everybody.
Sam, will you please just pimp out everything that you do?
Anything and everything.
YouTube.com/might be awesome. Please subscribe and watch the videos there because we're putting a good amount of money in there. If it doesn't do well, then you're going to get real sad. But so far, so good. So please
Great,
go
man.
check that out. And yeah, that's the main thing. Might be awesome. Go YouTube
And
it.
then Sam Bashor on the Twitters and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Twitter, Instagram, all the good ones.
Great.
Oh, you guys have a
Well,
Patreon too, right?
Yes, we do.
Shout that out,
Good
buddy.
call.
Shout that
yeah,
out.
I'm really not doing well here. Patreon.com/all only stupid answers, but if you do Might Be Awesome, that'll come up too. So
And that is
Right.
spelled patreon.com/THEVALLEYFOLK.
So, dude, thank you for coming, Sam. I want to see you here more, please. And we'd love to do some cross pollination and
Yeah.
get DJ in here too.
Yeah, man.
Please and thank you. Game of Thrones, we can talk about
Yeah,
it.
that's a great idea. I love that. Maybe when Game of Thrones ends, we could do like a big let's all do our Game of Thrones thoughts as a series with like a bunch of people or something.
I'm down.
Okay, well, anyway,
Let's do it live.
Thank you guys for listening. Yeah, maybe we'll do it live. That's a great idea. All right, so yeah, patreon.com/the Valleyfolk. If you want to be a patron of the Valleyfolk, you get this podcast early and a bunch of cool goodies and stuff. And thank you guys for listening to the podcast.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.